Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bahja. If this is your first time seeing my face, then hey, welcome to the channel. And if you've been here before, like always, it is an honor and a pleasure to have you here with me. Nice girls finish last, and that is a hard truth that nobody tells us. Nobody tells us. They tell us to smile, to say yes to everything, to be agreeable, bend over backwards to make sure that everyone else is comfortable, but watch how quickly you're taken advantage of. Watch how much you're not taken seriously or respected. If you want to build a life that is fulfilling to you, that is true to you, if you want peace and you want to be respected, then you can't always be the nice girl. You can't always be nice. You have to step into your power. You have to fully be unapologetically yourself. And sometimes, you know what? It's labeled. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is. I'm not telling you to be rude or to be disrespectful, but it's being a woman who is okay with saying no, who sets boundaries, who stands in her power, who stands on her values and her morals. My older brother would always tell me that I couldn't continue being nice and reach the lengths that I wanted to reach or truly be respected in spaces that I wanted to be in. Not even just like career-wise, but this could be relationships, this could be friendships. I was never the type of person to really be taken advantage of because I be clocking things, but at the same time I was putting myself on the back burner and putting everybody else before me because that's what I thought I had to do. That's what I thought I had to do in order to be nice or in order to be kind. But bending over backwards and making myself small and like shrinking myself was not noble. It was causing me so much overwhelm and stress, and putting myself on the back burner never let me win. And I never understood the concept. I was like, no, but I want to be nice. But being kind and being respectful is completely different than being nice. That was coming from insecurities. That was coming from fear and wanting to be liked and seeking validation. It wasn't coming from what I thought was my morals and my values. It's completely different. And so in this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to truly step into your power, how to demand the respect that you deserve, and truly live a fulfilling and meaningful life without exhausting yourself trying to be quote unquote nice. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the traits and the qualities and daily practices that you can do to become a powerful woman, to step into your power and stop being taken advantage of and getting walked all over and trying to be nice. The first thing that I want to talk about is respect. We do not beg and plead for respect. We do not ask people and beg people to change and shift and mold into the versions of themselves that we want them to be so that we could feel respected. Instead, we respect ourselves first, and that demands respect. The energy of having true self-respect, that demands respect. People are going to treat us accordingly. When someone treats you poorly or fails to show you any sort of respect, rather than begging, pleading, fighting, we communicate our expectations with emotional intelligence. We communicate that to that person, especially when it's people we care about. We tell them, this is how I felt, this is how I would like to be treated. If nothing changes, if they continue to behave that way, if they continue to act that way, then we simply walk away. Every single time that you tolerate disrespect, every single time that you tolerate people to treat you poorly or walk all over you, you are chipping away at your self-respect. You are chipping away at your self-esteem, your confidence, your self-concept. And you are telling people and you are saying, it is okay for you to treat me that way. It is all right for you to treat me this way, and people will continue to act accordingly. When you choose to walk away and you choose to respect yourself, you don't have to paint that person as a villain. You don't have to paint that person as bad because they didn't fit your standards and they didn't fit your expectations. Instead, you have to just respect and understand that they are walking their own journey. They are walking their own path, and just, it didn't work. It didn't fit, and leave it alone and leave it at that. Self-respect, a lot of the time, most of the time actually, is doing the harder thing. It's making the harder decision. Walking away, even when a relationship is toxic, whether that's a friendship or a romantic relationship or with your family, it is the harder thing to do because even though it doesn't make sense, we find comfort in the familiar. So if we're used to people disrespecting us and we're used to people treating us poorly, even though logically we know that that's not right and it doesn't feel right and it's not good and you're not in a good place, we still become comfortable in that. And so walking away is the harder thing to do. But standing on your values and standing on your morals is how self-respect is built. So what I like to do is I lean on my pillars. The thing that is better for you is not always going to feel nice. So in that case, I'm like, okay, well, now I have to lean on my pillars. I have to lean on my morals. I have to lean on my values. And me personally, as a Muslim, I find that my religion is the lens in which I view the world, in which I view every single situation. So rather than focusing on what feels good in the moment, what feels right in the moment, I'm like, okay, is this right? Is this aligned with me? Does this make sense to me when it comes to the things that I value, when it comes to the goals that I have set for myself? And I always like to view it through my Islamic lens because that is where majority of my personal pillars are built. So having your pillars, knowing what your morals are, your values are, the things that matter to you, that will help you indicate whether a situation is right, whether it's right to stay in a situation, whether it feels good or not, or if it's time to walk away, if it's time to move away, if the better thing for you to do is to get out of there. Self-respect is standing on your values and standing on your morals and your pillars, whether it feels good or not. Because sometimes you can be in a situation where it's not all bad. It's not all bad. It feels good. It's good vibes, but it is not better for you in the long run. Self-respect is choosing that long-term goal rather than that instant gratification. You have to know what your values are. You have to really create these pillars for yourself that you can then lean on. Another thing is learning detachment, or in other words, having trust and having faith. I think that when we are desperate for something, when we're chasing something, it pulls us out of our feminine energy. And usually that chasing the job, chasing the person, chasing the friendships, trying to force things to come to you, you disrespect yourself because you end up settling. You end up settling for horrible friendships. You end up settling for terrible relationships because you are so desperate for something to work, for something to happen, that you shrink yourself. You don't pay attention to yourself. You put yourself on the back burner and you don't do what's actually good for you in the long run. And it causes you to make poor decisions, which leads you to living a life that isn't fulfilling to you. It's trusting and having faith that everything is working out in my favor. Detachment becomes easy when you remember God in every connection, in every encounter, in every conversation that you have, in every hardship, in every endeavor, in every success. When you are constantly reminding yourself that you are being guided, it's hard to chase things that aren't meant for you. A lot of times, the reason why we chase is because we've kind of been conditioned that if we want something, we have to go after it, we have to chase it, whether that's love or opportunity, success. It also comes from this need of control, wanting to control the outcome. We chase because we need validation, because we don't know our own worth. And all of those things cause us to make bad decisions. All those things cause us to be okay with being in spaces where we're being disrespected, we're not being respected at all, where we're not being taken seriously. It's so important to have this faith and this trust that everything is working out in our favor. Everything is constantly unfolding for us in a way that is better than we could imagine. And moving through life with that trust and with that faith. The things that are truly meant for you, you will feel a sense of alignment, in a sense of peace. When you feel extremely uncomfortable in a situation, a friendship, a relationship, a job, when you feel really, really uncomfortable to the point where you feel like you're almost betraying yourself, then that thing isn't meant for you. Take that as a signal that you're not meant to settle for this thing. You just know, like, deep down. And that's why understanding your intuition and being able to listen to your intuition is a really important thing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But when you just know when something isn't meant for you. And I'm not saying that the things that are meant for you won't come with their own hardships and their own challenges, and you won't feel a little bit of stress here and there. But if something is constantly draining you and like literally robbing you of your joy and your peace, then take that as a sign that you're not meant to settle in that thing, that you're meant to grow and evolve from that thing. That boy that is making you question your worth, whether you're good or not, he gotta go. That job that is stressing you out and sucking the soul out of you, goodbye. I'm not telling you to quit your job right now if it's sucking the soul out of you, but just recognizing that first first is really important. If you continue to stay, you're teaching yourself that this is okay. And like I said, people and the world will continue to treat you that way. Walking away is the stronger thing to do, even if it feels or it looks like you're giving up to everybody else. All right, so how can we build self-respect and self-trust? This takes practice. This takes intentional actions and committing to yourself and showing up for yourself every single day. And I still practice these things every single day, and I still strengthen these areas and these things every single day. So the first step is to set your standards and meet them yourself first. Okay, so this is creating your pillars and then meeting them first. A lot of times we set expectations and standards for everybody else. Oh, they should treat me this way. They should treat me that way. This person should act like this and they should be like this. But we're really doing nothing to stand on our own standards. We're doing nothing to fulfill those things first. By doing this, by setting standards and having these pillars that you can lean on, that you can navigate life with, this sets the foundation for how you view yourself, how you see yourself, and how other people are going to treat you. So here are some reflection questions that you can ask yourself so that you could build your pillars and create kind of like this lens in which you navigate life. For yourself, ask yourself, what kind of woman would I like to be? What do I stand for no matter what? Regardless of what everybody else is doing, you stand on your own values. The next question that you can ask yourself is, what values guide your decision making? Kindness? Is it honesty? Is it generosity? Is it self-discipline? The next question is, what do I deserve in life and how will I honor that? And the last question is, how do I want to treat myself physically, emotionally, and spiritually? So for the people around you, the people in your life, the people that you're closest to, here are some questions that you can ask yourself. What kind of energy do I want in my circle? This is really important because your circle impacts you a lot. It impacts your future. It impacts how you feel. It impacts the life that you create for yourself. So the people that you keep around you is really important. The next question that you can ask is, what qualities do I expect in my relationships? This is integrity, loyalty, positivity. I know the type of people I will not let around me. What do they say? You're the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most. If you want to be different and you want to change for the better and you want to create something better for yourself, the people around you have such a huge impact on you, and their traits and their qualities matter because it will rub off on you. You don't sit next to a garbage can and expect to still smell nice. You're gonna stink. The next question that you can ask is, what behaviors and attitudes are non-negotiables for me? And then the last question that you can ask is, how will I handle people who cross my boundaries and disrespect me? Like I said, when it comes to setting these standards and creating these expectations for yourself and the people around you, you need to meet them first, okay? So if you really value punctuality, then start showing up for yourself on time. Start showing up for yourself. Start showing up for other people on time. You have to embody that first if you want that to be reflected back to you. So the next thing that you need to do in order for you to kind of build the self-respect is understanding yourself on a deeper level. You have to do the inner work. When you understand yourself deeper and you understand and recognize your patterns, your triggers, your insecurities, the beliefs that you hold about yourself, you create a level of self-awareness that keeps you from settling for less. Mediocre opportunities, mediocre men, mediocre friendships. When you do these practices such as journaling or therapy or any really self-help resources, when you use those and you understand your patterns and your triggers and you create a safe space within yourself, it is very, very hard to not want better for yourself. So doing that inner work, doing that healing, it is the first step to becoming untouchable, like literally unbreakable. When you create the safe space and you're able to have these conversations with yourself and you're able to really get real with yourself, then you can clock your BS and you can say, dude, I'm settling right now. I'm bending over backwards. I'm shape shifting because I want to try to get this person to like me. And getting to the root cause of these things can help you heal that so that you don't end up in these cycles of doing the same thing again and again. Okay, so the next step is creating a vision for yourself. When you have something that you are working towards, when you create a vision and you say, this is the future that I would like to have, here are the goals that I am working towards, that I am striving towards, every single day that you show up for yourself and you work towards that, that, you'll recognize how amazing you are, how capable you are. When you start to uncover your potential and you start to see how much you're actually capable of, nobody can talk down on you. Having a vision and creating a vision for yourself, it kind of becomes this blueprint that you use to navigate your life. You can then ask, is this person aligned with who I'm becoming and where I'm headed? Does this habit align with where I'm going and who I would like to become? And self-respect is removing yourself and saying no to everything and anything that is not aligned with you, with your vision, with where you're going, with your morals, with your values. The next thing is showing up for yourself every single day and creating discipline, building discipline, practicing discipline. The confidence that you will gain from showing up for yourself every single day, the self-trust that you build, you're not going to let people disrespect you. You're going to start to see yourself differently. Like I said, your self-concept is going to shift into a more positive one. You're going to feel like there isn't really anything that you can't do or achieve. Every single time you say, this is what I'm gonna do, and you don't do it and you don't show up, again, you chip away at that self-respect, that self-trust, your self-esteem. The easier it is to be taken advantage of and the less that you're respected because you don't even respect yourself. So every single day, try to build self-trust by setting a small goal and showing up for it. That'll change your self-concept. That'll change the way that you see yourself and have so much more respect for yourself, so much more love for yourself, so much more confidence. Who's gonna mess with you then? Okay, and the last thing is make intentional choices. Okay, you don't have to ask yourself this for every single choice. It is okay to make mistakes too. But when it comes to the big decisions, the big choices that you make, and the small choices that you make daily, ask yourself, is this aligned with who I'm becoming? Is this aligned with where I'm going? And that is why it's so important to have a clear vision. That is why it's so important to understand your morals and your values and have those pillars, because they become what you lean on. Your future is nothing but a collection of the decisions that you've made. So when you make decisions from a place that is true to you, you start to build and create a life that is fulfilling to you. So getting clear on those things is the first step to becoming a powerful woman. And then standing on that, saying no to anything that is not that, and practicing saying no. For example, I went to the movie. This is like a silly example. This isn't even like a big example, but I am on a weight loss journey. Hey, and I went to the movie theater with my best friend and my sisters, and there's nothing better than movie theater popcorn and ices. But girl, I packed my own stuff, and my best friend was like, oh, you don't want an icy? And I was like, no, girl, I don't want an icy. I don't. And even though everybody else around me was doing it, I still stood on business. And you know how much confidence that builds, self-trust it builds. And people respect that. People respect that so much. I used to work at a job. Here's another one. I used to have a job where I was around a bunch of young folks, and I would tell them all the time, absolutely not. I do not go to clubs. I do not do any of that. And I made it clear from day one. And they respected that a lot more than me trying to get them to like me by doing what they were doing. But when you tell people straight up, no, that is not me, that is not what I'm going to do, and you really stand on your boundaries, ooh, they're gonna respect you. The next trait or characteristic or boundary that you have to create if you want to be a more powerful woman, if you want to be respected, if you want to be living just a good, fulfilling life, is privacy. Not everybody needs to know your business. Not everybody needs to know your business. Not everybody needs to know what you're doing next. Not everyone needs to know what's going on with you. Even with me, I've set a clear boundary of what I'm going to share online and what I'm not going to share online. And you have to do the same for yourself, whether that is online or just in your personal life. And it's so weird because there's just like this interesting dynamic on social media where once you start creating content, people feel entitled to knowing everything about you. If you look at my comments, there's certain things that I've said that I'm not going to share or told myself I'm not going to share. I just don't respond to the comments. And sometimes people get mad about it, but that's none of my business. A lot of time, the people who are dying to know your business, who are itching to know your business, aren't even the ones rooting for you. And I used to have friends who used to get mad at me for not telling them things. Even that used to make me question them. I'm like, that's weirdo behavior. Like, why do you want to know everything about me so that you can give me your 2 cents on it, so you can judge me about it and give me your judgments and your thoughts and your opinions? When you keep things private and you keep things sacred to you. It's not even about being sneaky and being secretive and trying to be mysterious, even though that little bit of mystery is a little bit attractive. It's not even about being secretive. It's just protecting your peace. When you overshare and you share everything online or with other people, you open yourself up to criticism and the judgment of other people. And even if you say, oh, I don't care about the judgments of other people, I don't care about their criticism, it's still gonna affect you. It's still gonna interrupt your peace. Keep things private. Allow for the people who you love, who are close to you, to do the same, because they too deserve to protect their peace. And respect goes both ways. If you want people to respect your privacy, respect other people's privacy as well. Another thing about privacy is it makes your relationships better. When you don't share everything and everybody knows everything about you, then it just feels more special when you share things with the people you love. It's more intimate. So protect your energy, protect your peace by having a little bit of privacy. People have a lot more respect for people who are able to set boundaries and to say, this is something that I don't want to talk about. This is something that I don't want to share. Privacy is such a powerful and beautiful thing. Even like with one of my friends, like this is one of my good friends. I love her to death and I always will, but she basically popped out and was married and I barely knew. I kind of knew, but I know that a lot of people would be really mad about that situation. But I just congratulated my girl and I was so happy for her because I just respect the fact that she chose to keep that private, because it is a private matter. When did these things start becoming everybody's business? It is, you don't have to share your business with everybody, and you gain a lot more respect when you choose to zip it. Okay, the last thing is learning to trust your intuition. Your intuition is kind of like this GPS, it's this guide. Your intuition, I feel like God has given us intuition to kind of protect ourselves. And I always say this in every single video, but I truly believe that there is something within us that knows the right path, the path that is better for us, the path that will bring us more good and more blessings. When you learn to just relax and listen to yourself and be quiet and be still and listen to that voice that tells you you need to get out of this situation, or you need to do this, or you need to move in that direction, it can benefit your life so much. And I always say this, but I feel like especially us as women, we always know. There's something in us that knows. How can we differentiate whether it is our intuition or if it's fear and insecurities that's talking, or if it's our wishful thinking? Our intuition tends to be really quiet and it feels kind of peaceful. Fear and insecurities and wishful thinking can be this obsessive, loud thought in your head that is just like really loud and reoccurring and might not even feel peaceful. Like it brings fear to you, it brings anxiety, it brings overwhelm. And so differentiating that really comes down to that self-awareness. I don't know how to explain it. I don't really know how to explain how to know whether it's your intuition, but your intuition is very soft, it's very gentle. It's like a whisper, whereas fear and anxiety tends to be really loud and it's reflecting on, is this my wishful thinking? Is this my anxiety? Is this my fear? You have to really be able to create that safe space within yourself. Once again, learn to be quiet, learn to be still, and ask yourself these questions. When you learn to trust your intuition, it could really be a superpower. It can protect you, it can guide you, and it really just shows you the wisdom that you already carry within yourself. Like I said, playing nice, I guess being nice, it's molding and shifting yourself to make other people feel comfortable, even when it doesn't align with you, even when it's going against your own morals and your own values. And when you live life that way, you will end up creating a life that is not fulfilling to you, a life that doesn't align with you, a life that doesn't feel good to you, and you live for other people. And so it's a bummer that when women stand in their power and choose to not be this nice person, it's a shame that it is called being But if that's what you have to be to garner respect, to not be walked all over, to not be taken advantage of, then that is exactly what we need to be. And like I said, it's not being rude, it's not being disrespectful to people, but it is letting people know that you are not the one to be played with. You are not the one who just folds for other people's commands, but you are a woman with your own brain, with your own choices, with your own decisions, who stands on business and who really values herself enough to say, I'm not going to do that. Being nice is not noble. Yes, be kind. Yes, give people the benefit of the doubt. That doesn't mean get walked all over. That does not mean that you should put your values aside and put your standards aside and put your morals aside so that other people could be happy. When you are respectful towards yourself and you show up for yourself and you create a life that is fulfilling to you, that can help you show more compassion and love towards other people. It's not about being terrible towards other people and becoming too self-obsessed, but it's really just standing in your power so that you could be stronger, so that you could spread more grace and love and compassion and just be a better person overall. And so that is all that I have for you guys today. I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys next time. I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video made you feel a little bit empowered. And if you found it helpful, share it with a friend, leave a comment down below, share it to your story. I love you all so much, and I hope to see you next time.